Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I never took the stickers off the book. I'll explain whilst I remove the stickers from the book. Basically, I went shopping today. It's the end of October, it's the 27th of October. I went book shopping and I grabbed all that I could find in the realm of like Halloween, October themed romance books basically. And I bought 3 Halloweenish books. So think of like the X-Hex, but I didn't get that one because it wasn't in the shop. Bet you're all glad you tuned into this. And basically, I thought for the final 3 days before Halloween, we could try read as many books as possible whilst living my life. You might already have seen this, but if you haven't, well, then I guess we know what one of the books is. So these are the 3 books I got that we're going to be reading in the next 3 days. That's basically a book a day. So that'll be fun. We've got My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. And then The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling, who is the lady who wrote the X-Hex, but it just wasn't in the shop. So I got these 3. Sort of like Halloween-y romances. And I think we'll give them a go. I definitely don't want to read this one first. Not because I'm not excited to read it, but just because, man, I've really been wanting to read this one for a while. So, October 27th, I'm starting with My Roommate is a Vampire. I have no expectations, but I have been dying to read this book. And I don't know if it's because the cover sort of reminds me of We Reach Sam, and I've not read that book, but obviously that one's been cycling around for a while. I don't know if this came out last year or this year. But this year. But I've been dying. I don't know. I just kind of want to read. It's like forced proximity. It reminds me of the Flat Share but Halloween version. So I'm going to give this a go. Fun books to fill up my Goodreads goal. But also to just get in the Halloween spirit. Because I don't like Halloween. It's not something I enjoy. But I feel like these will be nice and cozy. And and get into the atmosphere a bit just before it leaves and I get fully into Christmas, because I bought some Christmas romances today as well. There's just so many and I want to read all of them for this. Starting with My Roommate is a Vampire. Okay. I'm on chapter 4 already and I just wanted to like give a little update. Basically, we know like 4 or 5 characters. We know Cassie, who is a girl, and Frederick, who's the guy, and then there's Sam, who is Cassie's best friend, like childhood best friend, and Reginald R. Cleves, who is Frederick J. Fitzwilliam's friend, companion. They text all the time, and I find it so funny because basically, if you don't know, we have Cassie, who is an art graduate, and she needs a place to stay, and basically he rents out a room for like really cheap in Chicago. She hires out the room because he's a vampire, which isn't a spoiler because it's on the front of the book. He's a vampire. Vampires are obviously immortal. They live for a long time. I think what's happening with Frederick is he's not from the 21st century. He didn't think about pots or pans and stuff like that. So when he's texting Reginald's like, oh shit, we forgot pots and pans, didn't we? It's so funny. I'm actually loving this book. But I wanted to give another update on My Roommate is a Vampire. I am on page 123 and it's the 2nd day. Update on thoughts. I've got to the point where Cassie finds out that Frederick is a vampire. And I think Frederick might be one of my favourite male MCs ever, because they're ordering coffee and he's like, I want to order coffee. I want to learn to blend in. What the fuck is going on in my hair? He's like, I want to blend in. I want to learn how to order coffee and blend in. However, the coffee place that they're at doesn't have normal coffee names. It's not just like, oh, latte or a hot chocolate or a cappuccino or an Americano, blah, blah, blah. It's like really weird names. So it's like, we are beautiful, we are soul searching. And Frederick just turns to the girl at the till and goes, I would like to purchase coffee. And then he's like stood there really proud of himself. The lady goes, coffee? And he goes, coffee. And then he waits a second, he goes, please. I find it so funny. When I'm reading this, it doesn't feel like I'm reading, which I feel like I've not had in a long time. But like, because it's not a fantasy as such, there's less like energy being used to see it in my brain, which makes it slightly easier. But anyway, I'm gonna read this. I gotta get ready for work soon. Gotta do something to my hair. Okay, I've been reading for 2 hours, not straight. Okay, I'm on page 226 of this book, and there are 336. So I have 110 pages left of My Roommate is a Vampire, and I'm loving it. The only thing I have to say about it, she has a tendency to use cliches, not in a bad way. Like, I don't mind I am open to a cliche if you say it once, maybe twice in a 400 plus page book. But like, he says that history is like the most intriguing or like most interesting thing in the entire world. She said that about 5 times in the space of 100 pages, which is just not my cup of tea. I don't need it to be repeated that often. Obviously it makes sense, and there's only so many like similes or metaphors that you can use in conjunction with like that sort of like action. But that's all I have to say. Other than that, I'm loving it. I'm like blushing every time Cassie feels an emotion in her body. I feel like my body reacts as well, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm so glad I picked this one first, but then I'm also like, what if I hate the other two and this is the only good book? But I wanted to talk about My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine, because I've not rated this on Goodreads yet. I feel like I'm having a mind blank. I feel like I don't know what to say, because I loved this book. I love this book. Just don't think I'm in the mood to rate it right now, which is fine. The third act conflict was kind of like, it made sense. The way they saved from the third act conflict without giving any spoilers was kind of cheesy, but rationally I can feel like, oh yeah, it makes sense. But like, it was a bit like, let's just write this in really fast. I think because when I was like reading it yesterday, I was like, oh, this could be a 4-star. It'd be really cool if it was a 4-star read, but I think I'm gonna have to go with like 3.5, 3.75 stars. So that's like 3.75. I feel like that's fair, because it's like, it's on the good end of average. Like, it's so good. Like, if I had to pick a book I read every month this year to then read again next year, this would be my choice. I would pick this book. It's just fun, it's easy, it's cute, and there's not too many characters that it feels like, oh shit, I have to remember so many people's names and there's so many different types of relationships going on. No, there's literally like maybe 4 or 5. So, really cute. Okay, so we've got witches or like ghosts. Bad boy, ghosts, werewolf looking kind of thing. We've had vampires, we've now got witches and ghosts, werewolves, ghosts. Ghosts? I'm struggling. The clocks went back yesterday. It's all very confusing. Witches or ghosts? I'm not a big fan of witches. Nothing against witches. I love it. I think what you do is great. I've never, like, they've always just been, like, the basic Halloween costume. But The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. I think I am going to do witches next. Let's do it. And I just realised X-Hex is about Vivi and Reese. And I was like Googling where it was set because the town is in Georgia, which I thought was a state in America. But then Wales is in Wales, which is in the UK. And I was just confused, so I was Googling about it. And then someone was like, is it necessary to read the X-Hex before? And they were like, probably for good background context. But like, you don't have to. And I didn't. So will I at some point get my hands on the X-Hex? Probably. But it'll be like a prequel being released after all the movies. Like Snakes and Songbirds, you know? That's the vibe I'm going with. I'm on chapter 3. I have work tomorrow morning. I have to be up at 5:30 tomorrow morning on Halloween. It is 9:30. Because I have been finishing this book. There was like plot twists. I honestly thought a whole character had done like a real 180 switcheroo. I know I don't remember what I said about My Roommate as a Vampire, but I really enjoyed that book. But this one, I loved. I'll admit, chapters 1 through 5 was a little slow, but we were being introduced, which is fine. I love it. So in the last chapter, we're like rekindling from third act conflict. You know how it goes. The typical romance book style. But he goes on that's the wrong chapter, lol. Wells, our squire, if you know, goes on a rant about he's like groveling, but it's like, it's not groveling. And he goes, you can call me anything you like, he told her. And there was such naked longing in his face that her throat went tight. Wells, Esquire, that dickhead who walks across the street, anything, he went on. Gwen swallowed hard, letting one hand reach out and just barely brush against it, their fingertips briefly tangling together. And if I wanted to call you mine, she asked, her voice low, and Wells's grip tightened on her hand. I'll be that until I die. Could I give a fun, festive holiday romance a 5-star? I don't know. There wasn't anything I didn't like about it though. But I had this with Akatar, the first book, where like there wasn't anything I particularly hated. I just didn't get that like sigh of relief. When you get a 5-star, it's like your whole body like descends into something else. So I might just have to go 4.75. 4.5, 4.75. I can rate a book whatever I want. 4.75. I'm gonna go do that. Maybe I'll think about it. I'll rate it tomorrow. Slay. Love that. Happy Halloween, guys. Yesterday, on the 30th, I finished The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. I decided to leave it till today to rate because I wasn't sure what to rate it. I didn't really know. It was definitely above a 4-star. I didn't know if it was 4.5, 4.75, but obviously, or like even a 5. but obviously just after finishing it, I was like, oh my god, I love it so much. And I have thought about it quite a bit today. Not a lot, so definitely not a 5-star, but basically I just went with 4. Not anything in between, even though I could have. But I think after reading My Roommate is a Vampire, I think this one is my favourite out of the reading vlog so far. We have one more, and it is currently Halloween night. It is 3:45. Will I read all 300 pages tonight? It could take me until midnight. This is Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas, and if you don't know what this is about Yadriel, who I believe is that guy. I think that's how you say it. Yadriel has summoned a ghost, and now he can't get rid of him. To gain his family's acceptance, Yadriel has to prove himself a real Brujo by summoning his cousin's ghost. But when he accidentally summons the ghost of his high school's resident bad boy instead, things get complicated. For Julian won't go into death quietly, and the more time Yadriel and Julian spend together, the harder it is to let each other go. So it's a gay romance. I'm pretty sure this is Julian, and I'm guessing Yadriel is just a ghost summoner. I have no freaking clue whatsoever, but I'm gonna sink my teeth into this with Dan and Phil's Spooky Week videos on in the background. They're just really good background. I don't know. And we're going on to our third and final book of this reading vlog. Just wanted to update y'all. You know, in the synopsis when I said the Brujo, it's obviously Mexican or Latina. I didn't realize that this was. I think it's Mexican. I looked up what that meant, and I think it's Brujo. I think it's like the J is supposed to be a H, like in jalapeno. In my head, I'll say it with the accent. It all makes sense. But basically, it's a witch doctor or a sorcerer. Just so that we're all aware what's going on here. It's a witch doctor. So, like, a doctor that works with, like, black magic. I believe that's what's coming up here. Witch, wizard, sorcerer. Those are the vibes. And now I know what he is. It's November 1st. It's 6:30 at night on November 1st. And I still haven't finished this book. So basically I didn't finish Halloween because it's I'm finding it kind of slow paced. And also our house got egged, so I was mad. I'm on chapter 9, page 129, so I'm like a third of the way through. I definitely will finish it this week, and I will finish it for this reading vlog, but as of right now it's going pretty slow and I'm about to edit a video. But whilst my footage loads, I'm going to do a bit of reading here. Okay, I feel like I'm 3 chapters plus an epilogue away from finishing this book, and I feel like I can already guess it's going to be like not a low rating, but like a low rating. And it's not because it's a bad book. I love the idea, the plot. It's just the writing style is a bit literary fiction, and I say that because I feel like there's a subgenre of fiction where there's truth to it, and obviously there's truth to everything. But what I'm saying is the way that Aidan Thomas is talking about the events, the ceremonies, the culture of Mexican, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think it's Dia de Muerto, where they like raise it from the, and I feel like that's all true. I'm not going to Google it because I like to think that it's true. It's like really sweet, and I like to think that that is something that people do. But because it's written, it's kind of lengthy in its text style. So I'm saying that like similar to like Sally Rooney, you know, where in literary fiction they kind of just say a lot. They like have a lot of words and they don't say very much in those words. Sometimes I feel like that. So when there's like a portion that's like a lot of description, but I know there's no plot, I sort of like skim read it rather than like take time on each word. But when it's getting interesting, like the plot right now is getting so interesting. But because we've just had a new scenery come up, I'm on page 302. We've just had a new scenery come up, like a place that we've not been in before. I'm like skimming because I'm like bored, but like I really need to finish this book, and I'm like, I could DNF it because I can guess where it's gonna go, but like I do want to know. So I'm like reading, it's like I'm watching a movie in my head because I'm just not really paying attention to the scenery, but like I'm reading the words that the people are speaking or the thoughts that they're having. And I don't know that if that's fair to the author, but I've chosen to do that. And I'm not saying that this is a bad book. If you really like this book, all the power to you. I love the things in this book. I just don't like the writing. Like, some parts of this book is making me feel things, and other parts I'm just like, I actually don't care. I basically have like 4 chapters left, and I'm just gonna continue reading it how I have, like with the skimming and then the full detail thing, because it's taking me forever to read, and this isn't a thick book. Like, this style of writing just takes me a long time to process, and I'm tired of it. I have other books that I want to read that won't make me feel like this. Okay, I have officially finished Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. I'm just gonna go grab the other 2 now. I do have to be honest here, and it's not just because I'm in pajama bottoms on my bottom half. Let's quickly run through it. My roommate is a vampire. On the spooky scale, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. I would recommend this for the spooky season. Star ratings, I believe I gave it a 3.75. It was really good. It was funny, it was witty, they mean the same things. I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and I thought I was going to enjoy it the most out of all of these. However, I then read The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling, which I rated a 4-star, and I really want to read the XX. They are kind of linked, but I couldn't find the XX, so I just read this one. I loved it. I think witchy romances are now some of my... Ooh, love that. Ooh, whoa. And now some of my favourite types of books to read during this season. This is the first one I've ever read. I enjoyed it. I laughed. I didn't cry, but I did enjoy the plot. Plot was good. The resolution was a bit shaky, but it's whatever. Third, Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. This is a good book. I gave it a 3-star. It is a pretty mid book. Did I skim the last 2 chapters? Yes, I barely read them. But I knew what the resolution was. I knew it was going to be this ceremony, and I kind of knew what was going to happen. Is it a good story? Yes. Do I recommend reading it? Yes. Especially if you're into literary fictions, you're more of a, like, that kind of reader. I'm just not that kind of reader. Is it interesting reading and learning about other cultures? Of course. Does it have great representation? Yes. What didn't I like about it? Just the writing style. That was literally it. It was just too long for me to think about, and I was so over it. But I wanted to get it finished. So this is kind of like a DNF, kind of like not a DNF. But yeah. 3-star. 4-star. 3.75. So my spooky reading vlog, although I didn't finish before Halloween and it's currently November 3rd, was largely a success. And I'm very glad. I'm also gonna go now because I'm shattered. I'll see you soon.